Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I am Hamizah Mokhtar. So today we want to learn about topic 2, which is the method for development of alternative water resources. At the end of this topic, you will be able to identify the method for development of each type of alternative water resources that you will learn in topic 1. Alternative sources water is water that can be harvested at the building or through wastewater treatment and desalination. There are many examples of alternative water resources that include harvested rainwater, groundwater, stormwater harvesting, reclaimed wastewater, grey water, as well as desalination. Rainwater harvesting. So let's see, rainwater harvesting is storing and collecting the rainwater from rooftop or land surfaces. Suitable for area that lacking good quality surface water and also groundwater. This rainwater harvesting is considered as effective and low cost where when we construct the rainwater harvesting in our house, we can reduce the water billing. Today we want to see two methods that we use for development of rainwater harvesting. So the first one is surface runoff and second is rooftop runoff. Okay, for rainwater development using surface runoff, the rainwater will be collected in the tank below the surface of the ground. For the surface runoff harvesting, rate of loss of water is high because of the evaporations of water, but it is considered as effective method and it should be incorporated to avoid from the loss of the water. So you can see from the picture, this is the ground. We can call a saturated surface layer, and below it we have a water table. Okay, so we use the land surface to harvest the surface runoff rainwater. Okay, so before it is infiltrate to the land. Okay, next is the rooftop type. So from the word rooftop, you know that the rain will be collected from the rooftop into the tank. This one can be applied to the residential building, educational building, for example, university, college, commercial, government, industrial, and hotel. Okay, so from this picture, rain will be collected at the rooftop. Okay, and then distributed using the distribution pipe to the storage tank. Okay, from the storage tank we can use for various purposes, for example, landscaping, washing and etc. Okay, next we move to groundwater. Okay, so the first method development of groundwater is borehole. Borehole is a narrow hole in the ground that can be constructed by a drilling machine. So we drill the soil to gain access to the groundwater system. Modern drilling machines basically use compressed air to drive a rotating hammer that smashes up the rock. Okay, the air exhaust from the hammer tools blow the broken rock chips and any water in the hole up to the ground surface. Okay, so borehole is suitable for larger aquifers where the water depth is large, about 4 to 5 meter. But using a borehole, we need to caution because it requires pumping rates in freshwater lenses. Okay, so this is how the borehole look like. Okay, we use a drilling machine to go through the water sources. And then a second method for development of groundwater is infiltration gallery. For this one, a subsurface source of water used for a water supply system whose structure is like a horizontal drain. So this infiltration gallery is positioned below the water table so that it collects the groundwater. Okay, so using the infiltration gallery, it can collect the subsurface sources of water. Okay, this one vice versa, contra with the borehole. This type of development suitable and useful for shallow water table, which is less than 4 meter depth. Okay, this one is a good control on seawater intrusion, and it is preferred method on a small coral island or coastal zone. With the medium-sized island where large quantities of water are needed. Okay, so for this one, infiltration will be doing in situ. So we have a concrete chamber discharge and pump the water to the user. Okay, so they will get the source of water at below the groundwater table, which is aquifer, and pump the water up to the user. Okay, and then stormwater. Stormwater are highly found at urban and suburban areas. So this type of water resources usually used for watering parks and sport ground, or maybe it can be used also for toilet flushing and industrial activities. Stormwater is just like as recycled water. So we want to learn today how we collect the stormwater, and we have a few ways that we can develop to build a stormwater collector. Okay, the first one is minimizing directly contact impervious area. Okay, a lot of grass, lawn or other permeable surface will be planted around the urban areas so that the runoff will absorb into it and naturally filter the contaminant through the soil before it goes to the aquifers. So we put a lot of ground lawns to improve the water quality when they infiltrate into the soil and collected into the aquifer. Okay, then is grass swales. Ditch was built along the roadway and it was shallow enough to make sure there are no water collected that can make themselves as a basin. Okay, we need to make sure the grass swales is shallow so that it's not look like as the water basin. Okay, then stormwater ponds. The ponds are created by human permanently to collect the stormwater and let the solid settle down at the bottom. They usually can be seen at park. The pond will go through the cleaning process every 7 to 10 years to remove all the collected sediments. So Stormwater pond is like the wetland. Okay, we use wetland to collect the stormwater, so we can prevent. Wetland also can help in preventing flooding. Okay, then we move to reclaim wastewater. Method of development for reclaim wastewater, we have four, which is reclaim wastewater is closely related to wastewater treatment. So water treatment have basically few method, which is physical treatment, biological treatment, chemical treatment, and also sludge treatment. Okay, physical water treatment include screening of the wastewater, sedimentation method, skimming, aerations, as well as filtration. Okay. While biological water treatment is include aerobic process, where the decomposers of the organic matter occur, and then we also have anaerobic process, where the waste were fermentation at a specific temperature. And lastly is composting, which is wastewater is treated by mixing it with sawdust. Okay, so different between aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic is we use oxygen to decompose the organic matter. For anaerobic, we without oxygen, without the supply of oxygen. Okay, and then chemical treatment. Chemical treatment is examples is uses of oxidizing agent, for example chlorine and ozone. So other techniques that can be included in chemical water treatment is neutralization of the water. Okay, so for example this picture show the pH neutralization tank. So we put chemicals to neutralize the water. Then sludge treatment, which include solid liquid separation process. For example, dewatering of sludge from industrial wastewater. Okay, then we proceed to grey water. Let's see the method developments for grey water as alternative sources. Grey water is the water that has been used infrequently, such as in clothes washers, shower, bathtub, and bathroom sink. Although this grey water is not really contaminated, but it still contains soap and detergents, and it is a safe and effective sources of water for most landscapes. Grey water is never the waste water from toilets. So the waste from toilet is excluded, is not considered as grey water. In California, for example, kitchen sink water is not considered as grey water. Grey water is distinct from recycled water, and it is unlike a rainfall. It should never be held for more than 24 hours. So from this picture, you can see that the water from the washer, we can do a simple treatment and reuse back as the toilet flusher or for irrigation. Okay, the first method of development for grey water is recycling. It is possible to collect the grey water and after treatment use it for purposes that do not require drinking water quality, such as toilet flushing and garden watering. So using the grey water, it is greatly reduce the demand on main water or fresh water, as well as reducing the volume of water discharged into the sewage system. So we can have sustainable water. Okay, but the limitations of this initiative using the grey water harvesting are that even though it reduces the demand for main water, it does not actually contribute to a reduction in water consumption. Okay, so you can see here we have the grey water from shower, grey water from the water tap at the kitchen, and from the bath. So it undergo the septic tank, and the recycled water can be used for gardening, laundry, and also flushing. Then is the method of development for desalination. So basically you can see from this picture, desalination is the changes of salt water into a fresh water. So the treatment should remove the minerals or salt from the salt water or seawater. Okay, so desalination is widely used in the Middle East, primarily because the region's petroleum reserve keep energy costs low. So the three major process of desalinations include a large-scale thermal process of multi-stage flash distillation, and then we have multi-effect distillation and also vapor compression distillation. Okay, another method for desalination is using a membrane, or we can call it as membrane distillation technology, and it is primarily used in United States. And then we also have other process, including the membrane, which is called as electrodialysis reversal, and also reverse osmosis. Okay, it also will be simplified in this table. So we have desalination process uh, divided into two, which is major process and alternative process. Okay. Okay, so let's see on the significance of desalinations. Only 1% of the Earth's water is liquid fresh water. 97% of available water resources are actually contaminated by salt, not contaminated, but it is in category of seawater. Seawater that contain mineral and salt. This make desalination as essential component of effort to address the freshwater shortage and to cater the freshwater demand, especially in high population region. Okay, so one of the method is using the thermal desalination. The setup is like this. The salt water will be heated, and the water in the gas form will be collected into another beaker. So we consider that this is a fresh water without the salt. Okay, and then another method is membrane method, which is basically reverse osmosis. Desalination include reverse osmosis and electrodialysis. Membrane process use selective permeability to separate salt and water. So membrane method is like a physical method. We use membrane to separate, and the smallest the pore of the membrane will not allow the salt to pass through the membrane. So finally, molecule of salt will be left behind, and the molecule of fresh water can pass through the membrane. So we collect the fresh water as the permeate. Okay, then this is a few reference that you might refer. If you have any question regarding this topic, you can leave the comment in the future. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next class. Assalamualaikum.